Hey, everybody. Good to have you all. Hoorah. Tammy, Do Glubbers in the house. Good to have you. Good morning. Paige, good morning. Nancy, Braxton, good morning. Thank you for your service. You got it. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. What's going on, everybody? AJ's in the house. Good to have you, AJ, with the coffee. You guys hear me okay? Yeah, you guys hear me okay. I can see. Good, 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 good. Debbie Briggs is in the house. Good morning, Debbie. Thank you, Tammy. Yes, perfect. Outstanding. Give it a couple more minutes and we'll start at 9 o'clock. Purple. Purple is in the house. Good morning, Purple. Good to have you. If you guys are new, please click the likes, share the links, get that algorithm going, share the hearts. Let's get it, everybody. It's 7 o'clock here, says Debbie. It is 9 here, no doubt about it. 9 a.m. All right, all right. Today's topic. Today's topic is we're gonna go ahead and talk about who is this Bill Garcia. I don't know if any of you had a lot of time to look into who he is or what he's about or what his whole narrative is, but it's pretty interesting. Some things are, I don't know, a little bit outside the box, if you will. Some things doesn't seem like it's good for streamers to say the least. Some things it seems like he's criticizing streamers. And then on some notes, it seems like he's giving praise to streamers, I guess. Um, but it was kind of a little mixed, but I went back and listened to it again and again and again, like I have been. And so I just jotted down some notes of what I saw from my perspective, all my opinions. And remember, everybody, these are all just our opinions. Some things, obviously, that he says is factual because it's coming out of his mouth. Majority of the stuff is factual because it's coming out of his mouth. But the reality is that, you know, this is just our opinion surmising what is this guy about? Why would he come out? Why would he say the things that he has said? And I'll clarify some things as well that we talked about yesterday that when it came to this topic that we'll just clarify and certain things that will be a little bit more easier to understand. But click that like, everybody. Click the like, click the hearts, click the emojis. Let's get it, everybody. Let's get that algorithm going so everybody can get smarter with each other's help. Good morning, Manax. Good morning. Hurrah. All right, everybody, let's start. As people come in, mods, just let them know what the topic is. We're discussing who is this Bill Garcia. So there was a lot of things that he had said. Now, just a little bit of background. He's got his his private investigating license in the state of California. He's been doing this since, I think he said, since 2010. Okay, that he has his license, but he has been searching all the way back to 92. For a total of about 35 years, he has been searching for missing children and adults. And he has found people, and he comes across as a very genuine individual. Let me just say that. Very genuine. He comes across like there's a lot of heart and thought and everything in what he says, you know. Uh but the idea is that, sometimes you can have all the great intentions, but say maybe all the some things that are just doesn't seem like, or seems like you're almost bashing other people for trying to do the same thing that you're doing, and that is bring awareness to Nacy still being missing. Lady J's in the house. Good morning, dog and ma. It's good to have you, Lady J. Click that like, everybody. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, be a member. We got to build that member base. Let's get it, everybody. Let's get it. Norma, beautiful chat. Good morning, DD. Good morning, Norma. Annie's in the house. Good morning, Annie. Manix, I did the same thing last night. Found some discrepancies. Yeah, there was just some things that, you know, whether they're really big on the surface that it really matters, or whether it's just the whole point of finding Nacy, right? Getting awareness and finding where Nacy is at. Bring Nacy home. That's the whole theme of Nacy Gutherie, right? 84-year-old lady goes missing. Doesn't go missing. Now we know that she was actually taken against her will. So you could call it whatever, but that's exactly where we're at. Topic this morning is Bill Garcia, Nacy Gutherie case. Good morning, Norma. Good morning, Dee. L, good morning. Lady J, good morning, L. Norma, 1985. Good to see you, friend. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I was just saying a second ago, that he's got 35 years plus, or 30 years plus, a total of like 35 years of searching for children and missing adults. He also is from the state of California. He's got his private investigator's license. Been doing this for a while. Comes off very sincere. So what you hear today from me is not only what he has said, and I'll paraphrase a lot, but also, in my opinion as well, what I think, because some things seem kind of confusing, or something seemed kind of like it didn't mesh, if you will. Good morning, DD, from everyone. L. Manic. Bill Garcia says the perp went north, stays in Arizona. Perp goes south, leaves country. Huh? Yeah, there was a little bit of I think a little bit of back and forth, whatever fit the narrative. But I do believe he means well in his heart. And I do believe that, he comes across very sincere, in all honesty, in my opinion. I don't know if I buy it all, okay, because I'd have to see more. But just doing a check with him and seeing how he handled himself, it did seem like he had a lot of heart, with him on why he was doing this. Oleg, hi Norma. Oleg Cat. Good morning. All right. So we know how long he's been doing this. We know what he's been saying as far as, he is a private investigator. He is not a part of the search team. He is not a part of any search team. He did say he reached out to the Gutherie family, but didn't get any response back. And he did also say that they're going to continue. He's got a 3-man team. Okay. One of the individuals obviously is very handy with computers, because he was, as he put it, was able to demasked the porch guy in front of literally Nacy's house. So he was able to demask him. Now there's a thing basically how they can configure certain things and get an idea on who that person could be. Didi, I have sent you 3 emails not in chat. Your connection is unstable. Why is it doing this? I don't get it. You guys still hear me, right? Hi, Lady Jane. Good morning. You guys still hear me, correct? All right. Let's keep going. Good morning. Patrick Price said he doesn't believe he was able to demask him. Yeah, I don't know. That's a whole heck of a lot more than what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Anna Berno says yes, yes. Okay, good. Because I'm getting little notices up top of the computer, and I don't understand why I'm getting it. We can hear you a little buffering once in a while. There was no less than 2 persons who took her. That is correct, Little Red B. You're fine in my end. Thank you. Thank you. Hope you are well. Doing good, Manix. Doing good. Good morning. Jones in the house. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Hit the hearts. Hit that. Get that algorithm going, everybody. Let's get it. More people we get in, the more people we learn from. That's how we roll. So the other thing also was the fact that he had made some comments, and some of them were understandable, okay, and some of them weren't. He believes, first of all, that this was a targeted event. That's without saying. He believes this was a targeted event. He knows, and as we all know, that both law enforcement and the FBI literally they're aware of this individual that he is claiming as the suspect because of the fact that they have arrested him before. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Sounds good, Al. Sounds good. Welcome in, everybody. Bible, welcome in. Joan Schaefer, good morning. Manix, I have the medical odyssey going too. I can relate. Annie. All right, all right. So the other thing that he has talked about was he said they had detained him. Now, just to give you an idea, last night after we got done with our live, lo and behold, JLR had a live and he had Zach, for better lack of words, this is who was suspected that Bill Garcia, in my opinion, was talking about. Zach from Jordan. He had him on his live and he was asking him some questions. And I want to touch on one thing that really stuck out to me on that. But JLR had him on there and they talked. Okay. Just that simple. He asked him some questions. But there's going to be something I'm going to bring up on that I noticed that kind of took me a little back. So I'll fill you in. Remind me with that so I don't forget. It's important. Annie, most believe it was targeted. Thank you, Norma and Annie. Sorry, prayers will get through this. L, prayers are always with you. We make each other stronger. Now, the other thing is that he had went out to Tucson. He just got back. He went to Tucson. He went down there for 6 days, apparently for the week, but I think it was 6 days. He looked down at the area. He checked it out, him and his team. He was able to gather some information. And there's a lot of things that he literally specified that was very important. He was, and they asked him if he had not. When I'm saying they, it's another channel. It's called um, oh God, something obsess is the name of the channel. I can't think of the lady. I think it's Lee starts with an A. I can't think of the lady, but that wasn't the topic here. Nevertheless, he was asked by the interviewer, and I'm not talking about JLR. This is someone different. He was asked if what did he see? Did he see a lot of people who were searching for Nacy? A lot of it seems to be. He was claiming a lot of it was about reward. He was claiming a lot of it was about clicks and likes. Okay, he was claiming a lot of it was basically for the self-interest of an individual is what I took out of it. Of course, for him, and then of course he said it was also about the reward for people who are searching for Nacy. And then he said about himself that, well, he doesn't search for reward, but he is under pro bono, which if you don't know what that means, look it up. But it's basically, if they find him, I'm sure they get X amount of dollars. To me, it's the same damn thing in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Any most believe it was targeted. Norma, you too. Couldn't think of it either. Criminally Obsessed. Thank you so much, Manix. It was Criminally Obsessed who's who I'm talking, did the interview with them. It was a good interview. I'm not going to lie. It was a good interview. He was licensed since June the 1st of 2000. Okay. 35 years experience. These are the things that I wrote down that kind of really made me think. Okay. He seems very genuine. And for his reason to search for Nacy, he goes a lot off the grid. So when he goes searching, he doesn't like anybody really with him other than his team. And the reason he says, which I can understand, he doesn't like people interjecting and putting their thoughts and their spins into his head because he's going there with a certain agenda. He's going there to do a certain search that he doesn't want anybody over here putting things in his mind. He wants to stick to his plan, which I can understand that. Made totally sense to me. Totally. He never lets anybody knows where he's at. Now, he did say that they searched a little bit of the Seguro National Park, which is one of the places they wanted to check out, the Seguro National Park. Okay. Now, there's another couple areas he said they're going to search, but that's where they first went. Now, he didn't find anything. Let me rephrase that. He didn't find Nacy, obviously. We would have heard about it. But yeah, he just really, in my opinion, he seems like he has a good heart. I just don't know some of the rhetoric. He says he doesn't need to let anybody know because he doesn't want anybody's interjecting their opinions and theories, which I just covered. He doesn't believe Nacy was taken south of the Mexican border. Now, the reason he says that, it's actually a pretty good reason. He says he doesn't think she was taken south of the border because the idea that if they had to take her, they would have took her February the 1st. And in that, CPB and not only CPB, but Homeland Security, they have cameras, drones, and equipment that are out there, and they do check the point of entries coming in and going out. So as I was saying before yesterday, that when you go into Mexico, they really don't check you. But on these days, they check it literally going in and coming out. So he said that would have been not a good situation if they would have went through the checkpoints. So that's why he doesn't believe she went south. He doesn't necessarily believe that tip that was given is even a good, credible tip. Yeah, Norma says, I don't believe she was taken to Mexico either. Yeah, I find it hard to believe that, but that she was taken to Mexico. But yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely, because he knows that they're there. Hi, DD, it's Vanessa. Free the 411. Thank you, Vanessa, for being here. Topic of the day is who is Bill Garcia and what has happened to Nacy. Now, he has stated that he worked with a lot of search parties in the past. Okay. And he also has stated not just worked with a lot of search parties, but he actually has worked with the people literally that are known in the area of Mexico. But to him, he said they're not taking this tip very seriously. Now, I don't know what he knows other than some of the groups that he's worked with who are notoriously known for this. They they're not searching. Now, there is a group out there, and I believe I was corrected before with I was corrected before on the name, and it's Corazones Buscando or Buscando Corazones or something to that effect. The searchers' hearts or hearts of searchers or something to that effect. So, but that's not necessarily one of the groups that he mentioned. He said he has worked with other groups that do this and they are not taking it seriously. And then he noted that Pima County Sheriff's Office was never notified of the tip at the time when he did this, at the time when he did this interview, that they were never notified, which means that's probably because they did not see it worthy to go ahead and find it very credible. You follow what I'm saying? Good morning, Vanessa. Good to see you. Good morning, DD in chat. Says Carolina Girl. Good to have you. Good morning, Carolina Girl. Free the 111, though. I'm walking the dog, so I'll be listening. Much love to you all. Thank you, Vanessa. Appreciate you. Free the 411. Good to have you. So that's what's going on with him. That's what he's doing. The Mexican search, the third search, canceled due to police could not provide security. That is correct, Mannix. They did have a scheduled search, but they had to move it back because they couldn't get all the security that they needed. You know, because there's a lot of cartel in that area where they were searching, and they wanted to make sure that they protected everybody. Click that like, everybody. Get that algorithms going. Do me that favor. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. So now his whole thing is, and this is where it gets a little bit kind of in the weeds. He talks about how he believes that this tip that was given to this search that are searching right now south of the border, that could be a misleading. It could be to mislead searches, basically misinformation, taking people off the trail, off the signal, so that they're not going ahead and literally, you know, like if you're getting close to something and someone throws you something over here left field, you start going to left field and you forget everything else you were doing. That's what he's talking about, which I can understand. That I can, because I think he does it himself. And sometimes in his comments that he makes that reference about himself even. Much love to you all. The Mexican Search the third. Free. Much love, L and Norma. That's definitely important. They were smart to hold off, in my opinion. Dangerous with no protection, says L, without a doubt. Paige, is the white Tesla guy or the alleged PI? White Tesla guy or alleged PI? The alleged PI. That's what we're talking about. Bill Garcia, private investigator out of California. Paige, this is the guy, Bill Garcia. So now he says that they were talking about there's gloves that were found in that area. He says, you know, you find black gloves everywhere. It's not like anything uncommon. Good point, because we even saw it early in the search, right? They were finding black gloves everywhere. You know, even had some tested, if you remember. That makes sense to me, says Norma. Topic is Bill. So then he talks about he believes Nacy is north of Tucson. And his reasons behind that is that they have targeted that search area. It's the best sense because it would have took you to Mount Lemmon, and or there's another tipping point that they would have taken you. So That's why he believes that that would have been out of sight of everybody. You know, if they had gone down through the south, they would have had to cross through the town of Tucson, which in his mind, there's a lot of police that patrol, especially at night, and there's less cars at night. So definitely, it is very possible that you could have been known or seen. So that's why he was saying he believes they went north. That's his assumption. Annie says, I believe still was her own family. Oh, no doubt. I mean, this doesn't change anything from my perspective as to where I see my pecking order as to who probably had something to do with this. But it's just another thing. This guy literally came out and literally called out an individual, not literally by his name, but around through describing a lot of things that he had said on earlier discussions with Alex and JLR and other people. So that's why, to come out and make that bold claim, man, it's you got to have the goods. And I don't know if he has the goods. That's what we're covering it now. I didn't have time to check it out. I will later, says April. You got it. Page, why Tesla guy is Harry Goss. This is Bill Garcia's PI. Did not know that, Manix. Thank you, Paige White. Tesla guy is Harry Goss. This is Bill Garcia's private eye. Well, is that the same guy, Manix, that was constantly going to Nancy Gutherie's house? The guy in the white Tesla? Well, I mean, he's not hired by the family, and he's not working for the family because he said he contacted the family, and the family never got back with him. So I'm just wondering how are they going on that property if that's the same white Tesla that has been on that property? Just a question I'm throwing out there. Good morning, and Mannix and Norma, Carolina girl, and everyone. Good to have you, Paige. Holly, I honestly think she never left the neighborhood. Very possible. That's a good point. Mannix, yes, white Tesla guy owns a PI firm. Okay. So he was at the house. I don't know who gave him the authority to go to the house because, according to him, the family, when he reached out to the family, they never got a hold of him back. Now, they may have gotten a hold of him recently, but as at the time of the conversation that he gave this interview, okay, to Criminally Obsessed, when he gave this interview, he had said that the family never got back with him yet. So they're going to continue to go forward. But thank you for that information, Mannix. That explains a lot too. Good morning, everyone, says Carol. I feel bad for Zach. I really didn't like seeing him drilled like that. He was very cooperative and didn't have to answer questions he's been asked by streamers and followers, in my opinion. No, I understand that, Al. And that's why I wanted to cover this, because I wanted to make sure we didn't go ahead and cross those boundaries yesterday. So I want to make sure I just go through what was stated and let everybody make their own assessment. Carol, good morning, Bible. Z and Luke Day's connection is so suspect. Luke Daly was so nervous in that only interview he did after he was questioned. He was visibly shaking. No doubt about it, Bible. That's why he's on the top of my list. No doubt about it. He didn't do himself any justice. L, apparently, from what he said, he's been bombarded with messages and such. Yes, that is true. From Snapchat to other social media platforms, people have requested to follow him because of that. And then he's been getting a lot of threats as well, as he put it last night when he was on. Thank you, Didi. You got it, L. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're at the point now where he's claiming The reason he's going and saying she was taken north is because he believes that is literally the best route that they could have taken, hands down. And it's because of the lack of law enforcement in the air, or the lack of the lack of law enforcement in that area. Because if they go to the south, they're going to hit Tucson, and they're going to go through a lot of different areas and whatnot, according to him. Paige, thanks for an excellent topic, and that we never discussed that before. No doubt, no doubt. Thank you, Paige. Holly, I feel like they are sending everything on a wild goose chase with Savannah kind of money and connections and no information. Kind of strange to me. Without a doubt, Holly. Well said. Well said. No doubt. Manix. Zach seems genuine. I feel kind of more accusing him. Yeah, and that's why, like I said, I wanted to go over it again, because I don't like accusing anybody of anything. These are, once again, these are just opinions, and some of these are facts. Some of these are facts, but they're facts that he has stated about himself. You know what I mean? I know a lot of criminals that can make you feel that way. Just saying, no doubt about it, Bible. Hey, everybody's a preacher when they go into the jail. They find Jesus and they come out different, but are they really different? I get what you're saying, no doubt. Now, he said there's a very few exits, is why his theory was like that. He was saying that there's only two exits from Nacy's house, and they both lead. Eventually, they both will come out to Campbell Hill Road. So he believes that if you take those roads, if you take other roads and other means, you're going to get lost out there. Even though he believes this was targeted, okay, which would tell you that they probably were going to know the area. He's saying, in my opinion, what I'm translating is that because it's dark, because it's night, they're going to be able to go through all these dirt roads and whatnot. They're going to have to take two of the main roads, but they're going to take the ones that lead to Campbell and go the opposite direction of Tucson, which kind of makes sense in that aspect. At least he gives some reasoning behind it. Holly says, with the blood on the porch and no car on camera, why do they think she left that area? Do they know something that we're not seeing? No, I think you're right. I think it's just the lack of information that we're getting. It's kind of hard to speculate because there's not a whole lot coming in. You know what I mean? And so therefore we're trying to decipher what we can. And sometimes, we'll get it wrong, and sometimes we'll get it right. But a lot of times we just don't know. And I think that's a very good point, Holly. Annie, Dee, the law ever see Nacy go home? Did the law never see Nacy go home? Well, that's true too. Good point, Annie. Good point. Once again, this doesn't change everything on where we are as a group chat. Okay, this doesn't change everything on those in that aspect. It's just the idea that it puts another perspective from someone who actually is out there that's going to be searching. Okay, they would have had to have some kind of evidence to think that they moved her out of that area, right? No doubt about it. Absolutely. Without a doubt, Holly. Good point. Good point. Marianne, good morning, all. Good morning, Marianne. So his thing was, you're going to get caught in those back roads because it's too dark and you're not going to want to be seen. And you're going to have to be very careful. And headlights, everybody sees headlights miles away. So, I mean, I'm putting that into the equation because I do know that, yes, at night in the desert, driving with headlights, you stick out like a sore thumb. No doubt about it. Yeah, it's saying he believes that the person would have not gone south in the city because Tucson police, they do a lot of patrols in that area in that early in the morning, and there's not a lot of cars out. Good morning, Marianne, says L. All right. He says when he does a lot of these searches that he doesn't have a lot of information, that there's not a lot of information out there. That's why he takes these cases on, is because he really targets cases that don't have a lot of information. Therefore, there's nothing really, like, I guess for a better lack of words, tainted his decision making. She could have scraped her skin before that and bled the skin. That's possible. That is very possible. That is very, very possible. Yes, the topic is not the white Tesla. Well, it's not the white Tesla guy. It is literally Bill Garcia. Oleg, I would feel safe with the white Tesla guy around. Paige, Bill Garcia PI is not the white Tesla guy. Bill Garcia is his name. I have the skin, and when bruised, my skin looks like Nancy's arm, just saying. No doubt about it. Oh, that's right. My mistake. Manax, Paige, White Tesla is Harry Goss. L. Nancy was also on blood thinners, allegedly. That is correct. Thank you, Manax. Holly, if they took her, they would have to carry her. She could have not walked that far, and no one heard anything, and no cars or cameras. You would think it would have been some kind of noise. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's a good point. Annie, I took care of a lady, thin skinned, and I went to her house. There was so much blood, I was afraid to end. She just scraped her leg. It was awful. I'm not used to knowing their real names. Laughing out loud, says Paige. Quentin is in the house. Good to have you, Quentin. The Professor 88. Norma 1985. She was. So he's talking now about literally his team. He's got a 3-man team. Um, he doesn't have a lot of information. He picks his team based on the idea of who is exactly for what they're searching, what do they really need, which is smart. You're going to pick people with their strengths to help you in what you're trying to do in where you're trying to do it. So that made a lot of sense to me. He said they one represents a lot. He was able to demask the porch guy. Now, when I looked up demask to see what the hell is demask, I come to find out basically it's using technology to and the behaviors and the walk and his stature and all these different type of things. But they're able to get literally, the way I understood it was kind of like almost like a profile of what this guy could look like or what he probably looks like. I don't know how in the heck they do that, but he did state that the Pima County Sheriff's detectives were calling them, asking them how did they do that, and they were explaining, at least the individual who did this was explaining how they did it. So obviously now they are aware that there is methods and means of trying to, figure it out how to do this to get a person. That's what made him so confident in believing who he believed was one of the main suspects or a suspect out of the two, that he believed this guy had something to do with this because of the fact that they were able to unmask it. And when you get a picture, now it's just about finding that individual, right? But they already know who the individual is because he stated that the cops had already, the sheriff, sheriff's department deputies, and the FBI have already stopped this guy. So it's not like new news, if that's worth anything. Holly, where did the caretaker info come from? Manix, Holly, I do not think she had a caregiver, very independent. Quentin, thanks. Hello, Quentin says L. Good morning. Holly, the lady at the CVS where she got her meds says she would come in with her caretaker. Thanks all, said Quentin. No leg. That might have been Annie. Annie 595A. Yeah, it was awful. April, if just coming to the topic, it's Bill Garcia, Nacy Gutherie case. Little Red B, there are two different people, two different clothes, eyes, and one on backpack or pew pew. Well said, Little Red B. You're welcome, says Norma. Manix, Holly, maybe that was Annie, her daughter. That's what I was wondering, Manix. Please like and subscribe, everybody. Click the like button. Let's get it. Let's get that algorithm going. So when the private investigator, Bill Garcia, or his team, they talk about being able to mask the porch guy. Here you go. This is about the masking, the unmasking. They are typically referring to the reverse engineering of digitally enhance the surveillance footage of the masked suspect on Nacy Gutherie's porch by using advanced forensic imaging. Investigators attempt to isolate the individual's facial features, reconstruct the mask, or identify specific unmasked characteristics like visible slice of a tattoo on the forearm. This process, that's an example. This process aids in building a usable profile of the suspect's true identity. So that's what that means when you talk about unmasking somebody. They're using technology, they're using prior pictures, they're using maybe markers, identifying markers, whether it's the face or the body, maybe they're using a lot of different things when they say they are unmasking an individual. And that's what apparently one of the team members of Bill, literally that's his specialty, and that's what he did. He unmasked that porch guy, and that is the individual that they came out with, was the roundabout way allegations. I can't say allegations, but the roundabout way about the person wasn't in country. He wasn't in country. He hasn't been in country since the 2019. He went back to his country. He's part of the military in his country. He worked for a car dealership. All those things, we all know who he's talking about. He doesn't say the name, but we know who it is because all those identifiers point to that individual. So that's how we know who that is. But that is what unmasking is. And it's important to understand it because that's how these people roll. They go on what their team is able to go ahead and put together. I'm just coming in. Topic is Bill Garcia. Little Red B2 are different people. Holly, maybe that was Annie, her daughter. Please like and subscribe. Bill Garcia is the PI. Annie, the one said tattoo on the wrist, then never said no more about it. That is correct. Holly had a question. If they think a jammer was used that night, would they be able to get the video? Thank you, Quentin. Appreciate that, my friend. Quentin just sent a super chat. Thank you so much, Quentin. Appreciate you. Hoorah. Thank you. April. There is the email, everybody. The Quentin, the thing the jammer used, and would that be able to get the video of porch guy? It's a possibility. I don't really know a lot about the instrumentation of all this technology. I mean, didn't have it back in my day, working in law enforcement. But hey, we have come so far. I'm not sure if they can re-engineer or reverse engineer things that we've never seen before. I'm sure they can sure as heck reverse engineer a picture, right? You would think. But yeah, good question, Holly. Good question. April, there's the email. Manix, Holly, the person hacked the smart meter grid. April, thank you, Quentin. Thank you, Quentin. Well appreciated. L, it was that easy. My question is, why didn't the unmask a long time ago? Look how long it's been. I agree with that, L. You would think that somebody would have known how to do this. And I'm not so sure they don't have that individual in their sights. I'm not sure they don't have that individual in their sight. I'm sure the FBI may have that individual in their sights. You know, the one of the reasons why Bill Garcia said that they didn't arrest him when they had him before, when they stopped him before, was because they probably didn't have that solidifier thing that they needed to literally prosecute it to get a conviction. So they thought that, in his opinion, they thought that they would just keep an eye on the individual until he made another move like something, saying something, calling someone, or something to that effect. He didn't say that. I said that from my knowledge. But the idea that literally they were probably trying to watch it, because you can only hold somebody for so long before you got to release them. Thank you, Quentin. Trying to figure out where we're at here. Oh, we're talking about Zach. Yeah, well, I'm not mentioning his name, Paige, but that's who I think he's referring to by all the things about he wasn't in country since 2019. He was out of country. He's in the military, or part of, has something to do with the military in his country. Yada 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 yada. So that's a lot of stuff that he was implying that only really fit this individual, in my opinion. Kimmy DD, good morning, hoorah! Good morning, everyone. You got it, Kimmy. Hoorah. Quentin, the jammer, mama Wi-Fi, but not the connected camera wired. The UFC fight security used a jammer to stop drones from would-be terrorists. Says Quentin. Mannix, PCSO detectives asked Bill Garcia how they unmasked a perp. His team helped them to do the same. Yes, absolutely. Well said, Mannix. That is true. Do you think the raids they did were to throw everyone off? No, I think at the time, Holly, I think at the time they really suspected, because they saw what we saw, right? They saw somebody acting very suspicious in LD, that they knew in their mind he fit a lot of the dynamics. That's how they were able to get that search warrant. Prior trafficking humans, drugs, arrest, phone, using the cell phone pings and whatnot. There was a lot of stuff that they were able to use, because they're going to need some evidence for a search warrant, and they were able to get it. And I think we covered that in one of our earlier lives. But do I think that do you think that the raids they did were to, no, I don't think they were to throw anybody off. I think actually at the time they really believed that these people had something to do with it, in my opinion. Quentin, jammer stops Wi-Fi for sure. Annie, porch guy was there on 11th. Then again, think the 11th was a scarce setup so they could see it again. So they could see it again. Nobody ever reported the 11th to the police. That came up with it. Who gave that 11th footage? Interesting. Good point, Annie. Good point. L, he said the person was detained. There was someone detained. We don't know who it was, but we don't know for sure that Z was detained. That is correct. Annie, but this guy, Bill, was saying he was detained. So, those are some of the things that we're looking at. When you talk about Bill, you're talking about the things that he was claiming and saying. You know what I mean? That was a whole concept of this live, was to understand why he would say what he said and try to figure it out from there. Because that's very crucial, the things that he's saying. But it's kind of like, really? Where's the receipts on that? That's kind of difficult to say a lot of these things coming from him without really having that for sure information. Her family had many hours to take care of everything at Nacy's hours till police were called. Very true, Annie. Mannix. Z called the FBI and went in for an interview to clear his name. He was not detained. But that's what this guy said. This guy, Bill Garcia, said he was detained. That they had him detained and they had to let him go. So whatever that meant from Bill Garcia, Holly, how would they get a warrant without a direct connection or some kind of evidence? They're going to have something, and I don't know, but a judge has got to sign off on it. And I can tell you, no judge is going to put his John Hancock on it if it doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, they're not going to do that because it's their reputation, it's their credibility that goes down the drain. Purple says Zach said he was not detained. I agree. That's what Zach said. We're talking about what Bill is talking about. Bill Garcia, the private investigator, how he literally has focused his attention to what appears to be that individual. Okay, that's what we're not saying that, he didn't do this, that, or the other. We're saying this is what Bill Garcia is saying. We're coming from the eyes of Bill Garcia, you know what I mean? The private investigator. And we're trying to understand, does he make sense or does he not make sense? Is it a distraction or is it not a distraction from Bill? Seems pretty genuine, but there's a lot of things that just doesn't make sense, like kind of what you're saying, Purple. And Z was not detained, came from earlier articles and news coverage. Little Red B, they were guessing about the 11th. Now we know there was 2 taking her out of her house. Perfectly Me, good morning, dog. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good, Perfectly Me. Thank you for being here. Stopping in to show some support. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. Get those algorithms going. Let's get it, everybody. A lot of definite seems contradictory, or does it add up, in my opinion? What Garcia said, but that's my opinion, no doubt. And that's the whole reason why I'm going over this again, because we touched on it, but we didn't really go through the things that he had said. We just kind of touched on it. And I want to make sure that I'm going and giving him that valid due, before anybody makes a claim on whether he's, not all there or whatever the case may be. So he did state, I told you earlier, that the sheriff's department detectives asked him how they were able to unmask the porch guy. They did it through several phone calls. They told him how that they did it. So they are able to do it now. He believes the other person on his team has the abilities to lead them right to the right direction now that they have a suspect that they are looking at. See, that's the key word. He says now that they have a suspect that they're looking at. So he's saying we have a visual of this unmasked person, and this is who this person looks like. Now that we have that unmasked person, that is who we're looking at. You follow me? It's like, wow, how do you put that all out there on, for a better lack of words, on just a tiny little string holding it together, I guess is the best way. But then again, maybe he knows something we don't know. I don't know. I'm just giving you exactly what, or almost exactly what he's saying, so that we can make our opinion from that. I think our senior interview was heavily edited. The middle of the story seemed to be missing, says Mannix. That's very possible, Mannix. Well point. Good point. Holly, has the family hired their own PI? Not to my knowledge. I haven't heard anything. He stated that he contacted the family, but he never heard anything back. So that's why they're continuing to do what they're doing. Well, maybe Bill Garcia can find out. I don't know where he came from suddenly. California is all I know is where he came from. I mean, he's been doing this for a while. It is, if you look him up, you do see that this man has been searching for kids and missing people, adults, for over 35 years, or over 30 years, 35 to be exact. But that doesn't mean that in this case, when you say you unmask somebody and now you have a picture of that person and now you're looking for that person, and that person you're describing the things that fit that person's narrative, it's kind of like you're basically saying who it is, right? And that's what I find so strange, in my opinion. Mannix, Annie Garcia is stealth. No, he is. He says he doesn't like anybody going with him other than his team. He doesn't tell anybody where he's going. Perfectly good morning, Norma. My internet, says Marianne. Open interview room. What we got wrong. Blood evidence. Start at 1 hour and 2 minutes. Mark, very inspiring. Thank you so much, Open Minded. Appreciate that. Bill stated, now this is Bill, okay? Bill Garcia claims that they know the person that they are looking at and has been in Tucson for some time, and that the person claims he was out of the country as of 2019. He then stated that after their research, now this is what he's saying. This is Bill Garcia. After their research, they discovered that the individual was here in the United States after Nacy disappeared. You follow me? So think about that for a minute. That's some big claim right there. They're saying that he stated he wasn't in country at 2019, but they researched it, and in their research, they found that he was in the United States during that time. Now, last night on JLR's interview, he stated that he hadn't been there, that he has been gone since 2019, that he has been gone, that he hasn't been in country. Okay. But Bill Garcia is saying that when they did their research, that's not so true. Okay. That they do have information that he was still here during that time. You follow me? That's what makes this very interesting. Would they clear someone if they could watch them and build a case? Would they clear? Sometimes they do, Holly, clear somebody just to see them kind of feel like they're letting their guard down. That does happen. I don't know if this would happen in this situation, but that would happen, and that can happen, and that could happen. Absolutely. Little Red B, the inside guy who attacked Nacy was the one with the backpack. Well said, Little Red B. Quentin Broom, no internet on Gilligan's Island. Open mind. That segment of the interview room was posted 2 weeks ago. Might be easier to find with that tip. Yeah, I don't know if it did or not. I don't know. I'm just going what Bill Garcia is claiming. He's the private investigator that is looking for Nacy. He's the one that's doing this. So the whole concept of this is to understand, what does he really know, and how did he get that information to know it? You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, it's, what do we all think about it? That's a decision everyone makes on their own, you know? So Bill is saying, once again, you got to listen to this. Bill is stating, he's saying that they know the person that they're looking for, that they're looking at, because in Tucson, Arizona for some time, he lived in Tucson, Arizona for some time. The person the person claims he was out of country in 2019. Well, there's only one person that we have heard of say that, and that was that individual with the Z. Okay. And then he says he stated that after their research, meaning after Bill's research with his team, they discovered that that individual was here in the United States after Nacy Gutherie disappeared. Very interesting. I mean, that's a bold claim, right? You follow me? That's a bold claim. I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm saying that's what he said. Interesting. Topic is Bill Garcia, PI. Oleg, is Garcia going to put out the unmasked pic? That would be nice to see. I would love to see that. Matter of fact, I wonder if the Pima County Sheriff's Office investigators asked him if, I don't know if he did or not, but that would be interesting. Very good point, Oleg. Very good point. Anybody who bases reasoning says both Porch guy are the same, says Quentin. Kimmy, from the beginning when YouTube interviewed Zach, felt he possibly could be the perp with similar features to the Porch guy. More importantly, he kept going back and forth to Tucson. That is very true, Kimmy. Very true. Well said. Little Red Bee, Devil Dog, I wrote without the backpack. Got you. No problem. I kind of figured. You're good, Little Red Bee. Man and Kimmy, the gap between Z's teeth is hard to forget. Quentin, I don't think Zach is the guy many people resemble. More circumstantial with there's not. Better chance the woman arrested for a crime 7 miles away is connected to the Porch guy. It's a good point, Quentin. Good point. Marianne, I would think LE thought it was Zach. They wouldn't let him out of the country. Very good point, Marianne. That is true. I believe the same. DD, I agree. From his TikTok content, it shows him in Tucson in 2022 and 2023 up to 2025. I looked into this months ago. Thank you so much. Well said, Vanessa. See, there you go, everybody. Now Vanessa has literally come out and said, Diddy, I agree. From his TikTok content, it shows him in Tucson in 2022, 2023, and 2025, up to 2025. I looked it into this months ago. Thank you so much. Well, now we have somebody that's claiming that. Interesting. Good news. That's interesting because Bill Garcia is saying that when they did their research, that he was in this country till after Nacy was taken or was missing. Okay, so one of them can't be, telling the truth, and in other words, one of them, they both can't be telling the truth, right? Now, on JLR's last night, he emphatically claimed that, I was here in 2019, yada, 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 yada. Okay, well, if you think people are on to you, are you going to say that because that's been your story from the get-go? But then you have people who actually do this for a living and they're saying, no. That's not what we found. So now it becomes who has the more correct evidence, right? Well said. Thank you. Free the 411. Thank you, Vanessa. So Bills is saying Porch perp. So Bill is saying Porch perp is male. That's what he's saying. April, Bill is saying it's Zach. I mean, in more ways than one, that's what I'm getting out of it, in my opinion. Norma, I think Bill has the information out there than I have heard so far. Good for him. He makes a lot of sense. Kiki Khan says, morning. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. Get that algorithm going. Send the hearts. Send the emojis. Let's make it happen, everybody. But know who Zach is, says April. Quentin, definitely a male for sure. Backpack or no backpack, it's the same guy and maybe alone too, or just a driver. And that's what Bill was saying. He believes there's more than one person. You had to have the Porch guy. You also had to have a person bringing up the car to take everybody out of there. So he knows there was definitely more than just one, in his opinion. Open. Is there a tie between Derek from California and Zach? Woo! I mean, that's a good point, and that's a fair question. Open-minded. I don't know. I'm still going to stick with with Derek. I like this theory with Zach, but the only way I could go with that theory is if I seen what that unmasked person looked like, and if I seen the evidence that says he was in country in the United States during the time he said he wasn't in country. That's the only way I could shift a little bit or more to Zach. But until I see that information, anybody can tell us whatever they want to tell us. We have to see the receipt. So I would say, to answer that question open minded, if I got to see that he was what information they had and it showed that he was in country, then yes, I would be more leaning to go that direction. Good question, open mind. Thank you. Little Red B, it can't be the same person. The porch video has backpack guy on porch and the other one attacking Nacy. That's very true. Good point, Little Red B. Holly, with the way the neighborhood is, I am surprised no one's seen unusual persons' cars in the area. It's like they know everyone's business in that neighborhood, without a doubt. Well said. Well said. Man, I got to catch up. Ole, the earlier porch guy pig is carrying his backpack. You can see down by his leg. April, Zadu Zags Jaghab from Jordan, who lives in Tucson on and off. Yes. Mancat, April, I'm sorry, Vanessa, free the 411. I recorded the content and uploaded it. It will make it public for you to see. Thank you so much, Vanessa. If you could send me that information, I'd love to see it firsthand. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate everything. April Mannix, yes, I am familiar with Zach, just not this PI. Correct. Marianne, in my opinion, it's not Zach. That's good opinion, no doubt about it, Marianne. Mannix, oh, April, first I hear of Bill Garcia too. Little Red B, how can anyone ignore the actual video of two perps? Says Little Red B. April, I'll add Bill to my list of names, laughing out loud. Patty Cakes is in the house. Zach's been in Jordan. He has a passport. Yeah, I agree with that, Patty. I totally agree with that. That's what I'm saying. If Bill is saying that they researched it and found that he was in country at that time, then I would have to see the receipts before I go ahead and believe that. No doubt, because I haven't seen that information firsthand. You know what I mean? But it's interesting that Bill would put all that out there if he didn't have the receipts. I mean, that's pretty ballsy, I think, in my opinion. April Mannix, free the 411 DD. I think the guy that 857 spoke with, that you're going to make me famous guy, is talking to Zach on the phone. You can hear him say, I hope Nacy is found. Inhaler, in my opinion, it sounds like Zach. Very interesting, because we did a slamming awesome job on that video of the guy that told 857, can you make me famous? Well said. What do you all think about that? Vanessa just put that out, the 411. What do you think about that comment just now? Marianne, I gave up on names. I'm just waiting to see what happens. Catherine is in the house. Good to have you, Catherine. Good morning. Little Red B. Little Red B says, Quentin, I know the video is clearly showing motion in the house and an attack. Interesting. Good point, Little Red B. Oh, where we at? Where we at? I gotta find where we at. Trying to find where I'm at, everybody. Give me a second. Wow, we just got another member. Semper Fi. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Man, I thought it was the only one that didn't know him. But was Nacy really there? Unknown. Guys, if I missed you, redo your thing, because I'm trying to catch up, everybody. Jordan will not extradite per their law. Constitution forbids the extradition, says Kiki Khan. Thank you, Kiki. Mannix, Marianne, more index cards, please. Holly, what would be the motive if it was Zach? Patty cakes. Thank you, Sherry Messina. Became a member. Thank you so much. Good to have you, Sherry. Mannix, Marianne, more index cards. Holly, what would be the motive if it was Zach? Money, money, and more money, in my opinion. Just saying, my opinion. All about the money. Someone interviewed Zach. He showed his passport. But if all I can tell you, I agree with what you're saying, Patty Cakes. I totally agree. It's just the idea that this is what he's claiming. I mean, I would think that there's a lot of damaging things that this man could be probably sued for if he's claiming these things and putting this out there and it's not something he can back up. You know what I mean? So it is very interesting. That's why I'm always saying, like all of us, it's just our opinion. But I do remember that. Thank you so much. Free the 411 because I do remember that. We just did that whole thing. There we go. Okay, I'm back. He showed the stamps on his passport to prove he was not in the US, but how many passports does he have married to US citizen? Very true, Kiki Khan. Look, guys, we all can get fake passports. Okay? If you went to the right person, you could get a fake passport. So let's be honest. And the stamps, well, you can get a fake stamp too. So let's be honest. If you know the right people, and Bill even claimed that this man was part of their military in that country of Jordan. So I'm sure there's a way to go around all that. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's factual or not. I'm just saying there always is a way. Okay. Passports are a dime a dozen if you know the right people. April, there's the email. Open mind. The reason I asked that is because Luke Daly was the only one who got a federal search warrant signed by a judge. Totally understand that, open minded. Totally understand that. And I do appreciate that comment. And I would definitely have to take a different look, possibly because of that. Thank you so much for that question. Holly, I think it's way bigger than just a random attack. That's what it's starting to seem like. Without a doubt, everybody, that's what it seems like. If you are new and you want to be a subscriber, subscribe and be a member in the Devil Dog underscore 88. Be a Devil Pup investigator. KB, according to Morgan Wright, is if crime reconstructed FBI said a demasking is not possible for they would have already done it. Maybe they already did do it and they're not saying anything. It is possible, right? How many times have we heard something from the FBI that later it was totally something else or vice versa? Carolina Girl, Justin, Clutch Pearls on YouTube has a video on his page when Zach was in the US in 2023. If you can find that, I would love to see that, Carolina Girl. Thank you so much. There you go. Another person, not just Vanessa, but now Carolina Girl is saying Justin Clutch Pearls on YouTube has a video on his page where Zach was in the US in 2023. But how could that be possible? Zach is saying that he wasn't there. He's been gone since 2019. That's the second person, literally, that has come up with some information there. All you have to do is verify it. Absolutely. If you could send me that, Carolina Girl, that would be amazing. April, you all are awesome and making this chat so interesting. Thank you all for being here. Amen. Marianne, April, here is your whiteboard, and Mannix, here are your index cards. Kimmy, my thought exactly. If you're PI, you would have all your ducks lined up in a row. Without a doubt, Kimmy, without a doubt. That's a fact. You think you would if you were with your salt, but Here's the thing, 35 years doing this, I think the guy's going to know how to cover his ass. No doubt about it. Little Red B and her pacemaker registered high heart rate. At the same time, the Nest camera on the porch was removed, and that left showed attack. Sherry, there it is. Welcome to the Devil Pup family. Marianne, laughing out loud, says Mannix. Marianne, how kind of you. Thank you, Sherry. Zach even said he done the DNA. He would do the DNA. But here's the thing. What is Zach's DNA going to really show? Okay, let's stop for a minute there. Patty, and I'm bringing this up because this was mentioned on JLR's live. Okay, Zach even said he'd do a DNA. What is his DNA going to show? If he knows he was covered from head to toe and didn't touch anything, or was the mastermind, why wouldn't he do a DNA? What is it going to show? It's not going to show anything. So if I knew that I did not leave anything behind, and they were saying, hey, will you take a DNA test? Oh, yeah, sure I will. Absolutely. Because I know I didn't leave anything behind. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that. If, in fact, he did do this. I'm not saying he did or didn't. I'm just saying, when a person says that, what DNA was he going to leave behind? If he knows he didn't, if he was a mastermind, if he was the guy who was the driver, or whatever in the hell he was, the idea is that it is possible that he would take a DNA because they wouldn't find nothing on him. You know what I mean? If DD missed your comment, please repost. Thank you, Quentin. Hello, Sherry88. Marianne, welcome, Sherry. Kimmy, motive would be, weren't they all after the Bitcoin? It's all about the Quan. It's all about the Quan, Kimmy. The money, yes, the Bitcoin. Absolutely. All of them were after that. Mancat, Z's DNA wouldn't matter until they have Perp's DNA to compare it to. Thank you, Manex. Thank you. Well said. Zach sold a car to Luke's Daly's mother. Yes, she did, April. Welcome, Sherry. And she paid cash for it. Yes, she did. The Bitcoin demand may have been to pay the hitman. That's a very possibility. Good point there, Little Red B. Vanessa says, I don't know if he is involved, but no, he has lied about being in Tucson. Well said, Vanessa. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Very well said. Good point. Does Zach have a connection to Gem Guy? No clue, Holly. No clue. That is... yeah, no clue on that one. April, there's my email. Annie, Alex was on last night, but I couldn't watch some disgusting woman on it, so I didn't listen. He don't care. Yeah, I understand, Annie. I understand how you feel. Carolina Girl, we will send you the email shortly. Thank you, Carolina Girl. Appreciate you. Manax, Holly, yeah, I looked it up. If gem minerals are traded out Middle East, so maybe gemstones and Z have a connection. It's a very good possibility. I just don't know. But hey, that's a good point. Thank you, Manex. Vanessa, someone checked out Zach and said he named on the business account of his MJ Motors. I've not been able to verify this information, but when someone asked Zach about it, he evaded the question. Yes, he did. He did. I do remember that, Vanessa. Well said. I do remember that. Kiki Khan, Annie. Yes, he has lost sight of the case now, just better against everyone, says Kiki Khan. Let's try to stick to that topic, everyone. Bill Garcia, PI related content. Thank you, chat. Manix, Annie, haha, and the woman on Alex's live. They do like to call into the panels. Yeah, that's the difference between what we do, and everybody has their own niche, I guess. Manix, Annie, haha. It was just the woman. Nobody else could even talk. Kimmy, taking a DNA does not make you innocent. No doubt about it, Kimmy. Well said. April, selling the car, in my opinion, to Luke Daly's mom, in my opinion, connects him to Luke. Well, that's what they were asking last night. No doubt about it. Norma, good morning, Carolina. Good to see you. Patty Cakes, believe me, if FBI thinks he's involved, they will go get him. They probably have all the information or gathering those final little steps. They may want everybody who's involved. You know what I'm saying? They may want everybody. They may not just want the one or two people. If there's 3 to 4, I've always said I always believed there was 3 to 4. If there was more, they're going to get everybody in this. But that's a good point. Well said, Patty Cakes. Norma, thank you, April. Vanessa, possibly money laundering, in my opinion. Hey, we know money laundering goes on quite a bit, right? We know that happens. And if you're bringing money across and you're having money and you need to launder some money, what better than a used car lot? Buy here, pay here. Very good point, Vanessa. No doubt. Well taken. April 100%. Thank you, Kiki Khan. Norma, good to see you. Norma, yes, Vanessa, strongly agree. Hit that like, everybody. If you are watching and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Be a Devil Pup investigator in the channel. Help us all get smarter. Yes, Vanessa, strongly agree. Annie, you are right if they have it. Kiki Khan, Vanessa, he would not say what he does for a living. Thank you, Kiki Khan, because you said what I've been waiting to bring up. So last night, and I'll just bring it up now since you brought it up. So last night on JLR, there was a caller who called in, and they asked Zach a question, and the question was, what do you do for a living? And he would not answer that question. Literally, he said, well, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about what I do for a living. It's not important. And the caller said, oh, well, I just wanted to know, like, what do you do for a living? Like, what do you do? And it was just an honest question. And he said, I don't want to talk about what I do. I do not want to talk about what I do. What I do is not important here. So I was like, that was a big red flag to me. Okay, to me. In my law enforcement experience, once again, if you got nothing to hide, what does it matter? Now, if he was, because then the idea became, well, is he working for their government? Is he, undercover type of deal? Is he, whatever, and he would not answer that question. But it wasn't not an answer like, I'm not answering. It was kind of like, I'm not going to answer that. I don't think it's important. I don't think it's, I mean, I'm thinking, well, does mom pay all your bills? Did daddy pay all your bills? Why can't you answer it? It's a simple question. I mean, so yeah, I was very, 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 very shocked. No doubt about it, 110%. That's what made me think, oh, wow, like, what did we just hear here? And everybody passed it off on JLR's channel. They all said, oh, well, no, I get it. I understand. I totally get it. And I understand. And I can respect that. That's fine. Hey, you answered every other question. You answered everything. But in my mind, in law enforcement, I was like, oh, no. Why couldn't you answer that? Why was that so difficult to answer? No one's going to go to Jordan and pick you up because they know what you do. No one's going to go, fly into Jordan and snatch you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, what was the fear there? Unless it was something dealing with maybe his military service, or maybe it was something dealing with something more severe or something more sinister. I don't know. But when you don't ask a simple question like that, everything comes in play for people who are listening. Well done, Kiki Khan. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Marianne, Patty Cakes, thank you for that. Was thinking I don't think he would be able to leave the country. I'll agree with you, Patty and Marianne. Vanessa, Kiki, yes, a red flag. Without a doubt, everybody. Without a doubt, that was a red flag to me. April just sent a membership to Devil Dog. Welcome. Thank you so much, April. Appreciate you. Hoorah. Thank you so much. Holly, do you think it's related to a larger crime ring that they are? Hang on a second, everybody. Kiki Khan. Kiki Khan, thank you for that super chat. Appreciate you. It will all go to good. No doubt about it. Thank you. Appreciate you. April, thank you for the 2 memberships that you bought. Hopefully, Madness can get one of them. If not, we will figure it out like we always do. Thank you so much, April. Holly, do you think it is related to law? I think it could be. I think it really could be. I mean, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I don't know why anybody would. I understand, like, if you're here and you're a YouTuber, streamer, whatever, and you're out there and they say, well, what do you do? Well, I work, I do for YouTube. Well, that's pretty easy, right? But if you're talking to somebody and they really don't want anybody to know what they do, like where they make all their money, and you ask them and they say, yeah, I'd rather not say, I get it. But he's in another country. He's not here. It's not like, oh, no one's going to attack him here. Now, maybe he's worried about it in his own country. It's possible. It's possible. But he was doing everything to clear his name. He was doing everything, getting out of his car, walking, doing all these different things. He was doing everything to clear his name. And yet he couldn't and wouldn't answer that question. Allie Julia says is in here. Receipt of membership by April. Thank you, Allie. Thank you so much, April. Appreciate you. Annie, I remember him saying that. Analyze. Analyze says, hi. How are you doing, Analyze? Oleg, I wouldn't either. People would be calling his employer. Well, but he doesn't really live in the United States. So who would call his employer, Oleg? He doesn't live in the United States. I don't know how it runs in Jordan, but I know in the Middle East, I'm not sure that they're not all involved in some type of oil. I'm just saying, been there, done that. No doubt about it. Vanessa, Norma, something is going on with the connection to MJ Motors. That's a very good possibility. April, send the Devil Dog 88 a gift memberships. Thank you so much, April. Appreciate you. Thank you for being a strong devil pop in the channel. Analyze. Kiki Khan, car theft and import. It's a big money business. Yes, it is. It's kind of like those chop cars. That back in the 80s, those things, back in the 80s, they were very popular. Early 80s, they were popular doing the chop, stealing cars, breaking them down, sending parts, the whole 9 yards. It is a very big, lucrative business. And it still is, for that matter. Kiki Khan just sent a Devil Dog gift membership. Thank you, Kiki Khan. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. Folks, we are growing. Make no mistake. Thank you as always. You got it. April says, thank you, Kiki's. Congrats on getting super chat button now. Thank you for always keeping it classy, DD. Thank you so much, Kiki Khan. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. Now I got to find out where I'm at, everybody. So give me a second. April, that was so kind. Thank you, Alyssa. That Analyze, welcome. Analyze, thank you, April. You got it. Welcome in, Analyze. Appreciate you being a Devil Pup investigator in the channel. Thank you for what you bring to the channel, my friend. Strawberry, there was a boy who saw a masked man at his apartment complex on the night Nancy disappeared. Was this the same apartment on Campbell Road that Zach is actually still listed as living in Tucson? Yeah, I don't know. That's a very good one, Strawberry. Very good point, my friend. April, welcome in. Norma, good morning. Strawberry, good morning. Norma and everyone. Yes, but it is being threatened. L, yes, but it is being threatened, in my opinion, regarding job. Maybe he is trying to be careful. Just an idea, could be wrong. No, that's a good point, L. That's a very good point. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I mean, the threats coming from the United States on his chat and media and whatnot, I'm not so sure, but maybe threats coming in his own country in Jordan. That's a point well taken. No doubt about it. 100%. Thank you, Kiki. Norma, wow, Strawberry, very interesting. This is the first time I'm hearing this. Thank you for sharing this information. Patty Cakes, big money in Jordan. No doubt about it. L, so kind. Thank you. Supporting DD, supporting the whole channel. Thank you, Kiki Khan. You are appreciated. Kimmy, why wouldn't he leave the country? They've been investigating him. He had time. Very true, Kimmy. Very true. Good point. No doubt about it. I'll keep trying, Manic, says April. Vanessa, that's very interesting, Strawberry. Thank you. This is how we all become smarter, everybody. We all try to figure it out. That's how we become smarter. The more people we got, the more it helps everyone hear different perspectives. Well said, everybody. Strawberry receipt on membership by Kiki Khan. Thank you so much, Kiki Khan. Appreciate you. Norma, 1985. Yes, I strongly agree with you. April, Strawberry has become a member. Thank you, Kiki. Norma, if I were him, I would give that info either personally, but that's me. Absolutely. And you know what? Maybe the feds already have that info. Maybe they already know where he works. You know what I mean? It is very possible that they know. Norma, if I were him, I wouldn't give that info either, possibly, but that's me. No, that's a good point. That's a good point, Al. No doubt about it. Al, I agree. People have asked certain searchers that they do, and they don't answer for safety reasons. Very well said. Holly, other than him selling the car, how did he get tied to this case? Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, other than when he did an interview with Alex, I think there was some stuff about. I think Sleuth had found some stuff that said he was listed as his address at the MG Motors was his address or something to that effect. And then, so Sleuth had asked him during Alex had him on live, and Sleuth asked the question, why does it show that you are living at this address? And he said, well, I don't know. He said, I've been in Jordan this whole time. And then Sleuth said, well, but it says here that you are a resident here, that you live here. This is your address. He said, well, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't update it. That was kind of like the beginning. And I think Sleuth did some, Intuition did some researching on it and was able to go ahead and get some information. But I would attribute that to Sleuth going into that and finding some information out. No doubt about it. He does a good job coming up with this information, no doubt. Kind of like Mannix. 1985, yes, I strongly agree with you. Zach said his wife is from Tucson, so has she never been back to see family? Interesting. Very interesting, Vanessa. Good point. Or does anybody know what his wife looks like? Is she American? and she doesn't want to go back into the Middle East. I don't know. Just asking the question, Holly, other than him selling the car. L, exactly, Marianne. Some people can't tell exactly what what they do, in my opinion. No doubt about it, L. Good point. Good point. Kiki Khan, big business here in Canada. Very serious. We had a ring for about 5 years. Wow, that is interesting. Marianne, so does that make them suspicious too? I don't know, man. I mean, like you said, Marianne, there's so many people in play. Do I think that he's suspicious? I don't know. It really is. Once again, it's all about who is Bill Garcia and the claims and the innuendos and everything that he has stated. To me, that's what really this is all about. Yes, we've spun off on different things because it all seems to go that different way. It keeps growing legs, right? And that's understandable. But the whole purpose was to find out who is literally Bill Garcia and what is his take? Where did he get his information? That type of thing. But in all fairness, yeah, I would say that it's very, very interesting. And so for me, yes, it is something that do I think I would think that he's a person of interest. I would, until he's not. And the way I would say he's not is if Bill Garcia can show some evidence that he was in country. And then we've heard it before, Vanessa talking about it. We've heard it before. Who was the other person that said this? Was it Mannix? Somebody else said that, yeah, that there was something there, or maybe it was Kiki Khan. So there's a lot of different things that make you wonder. And right now, I would just say he's a person of interest. I would not discard it at all, in my opinion. And a person of interest to me is just somebody that maybe the FBI needs to talk to again, unless they already have that information. Marianne, I do know, laughing out loud. Annie, they never said no more about masked man that took plants. What was that about? Yeah, it was like, hey, you want plants? Go ahead and take all the plants you want. And nobody cares about plants except the people that bought those plants, right? Yeah, it was like, was that something to throw off the trail? Was that something that was, what was that about? You're right. Very good point, Annie. Way to bring that up. Hell, exactly, Marianne. Good question. Vanessa, drugs also get transported and shipped in vehicles. I've heard of construction vehicles like GCB having drugs hidden inside them and transported across the world. Well said, Vanessa. No doubt. We know that does exist and exist a lot. No doubt. Oh, law enforcement and PI probably know what he does for a living. In my opinion, absolutely. No doubt about it, L. Please remember to click like, everybody. Click the like, click the hearts, get that algorithm going. Let's get it, everyone. And if you're not a member, become a member. Be a Devil Pop investigator in the channel. L says, please remember to like and share the stream out. Do me that favor. Marianne, I'm still going to say if he was here when Nacy disappeared and Ellie thought it was him, they wouldn't let him leave the country. That is true. That is true. Very true. Unless he found a way to circumvent that. And I don't know what way is that. Is that going through Mexico? Like sneaking across the border to Mexico and then taking a flight out of there, going out? I don't know how all that. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Thank you for the gift membership, says Alyssa. Thank you so much. Vanessa, his friend from MJ Motors told him the FBI was allegedly looking for him, so he called Pima County Sheriff. Very well said, Vanessa. April, Ellie, welcome. Mannix, Z said he was interviewed by the FBI. He did. Alyssa, sorry, been out a while. Busy. Miss you all so much. Bring Nacy home. You got it, Alyssa. Vanessa, I've not heard that. Very interesting man. Man cat, thank you. No doubt. Well said. Kimmy, is his wife the one that got captured that was trafficking people? I don't know. I don't know if she was or not. Does anybody know? Kimmy asks, is his wife the one that got captured that was trafficking people? Is his wife? Yeah, I'm not sure. The only one I know that they have talked about was LD and Hubel. I think it's weird spelling, but Hubel, something like that. The one that was married to Kayla Day. Hubel. Can't make this shit up. Holly, if you are a suspect, why would they let him leave the country? Wouldn't they put a stop on it? Yes, absolutely. But what if he sneaks across the border to Mexico? What if he sneaks across the border and then takes an international flight? Is that possible? Very interesting. I agree, Dee, says Vanessa. Norma, good morning, Allie. Welcome back. April, if his wife was caught for trafficking, so was Luke, but I don't know. Interesting. L, yes, Mannix, 100% he did. Marianne, Holly, I have been saying. April, like, subscribe, and share. Become a member, everybody. Vanessa, lost. Look at D4VD, who unalived Celeste. The FBI let him stay on tour. Very good point, Vanessa. That is a very good point. They did. You're right. Marianne, L, if Z was running, he wouldn't call the FBI, in my opinion. They can track that. Sorry, I'm a bit behind today. Multitasking life. No, you're good. You're good, L. You're good. Diddy, weebles, wobbles, but they don't fall down, says April. Yeah, right. That was his name, right? Hubie or some weird ass name like that. Well said. Marianne, I agree, L. You're good, 1985. Norma, Kimmy, maybe they didn't have enough evidence to hold him. We all know how that works. Yes, I mean that makes sense to me. I mean, you only have so much time, and that's what Bill Garcia was saying, and one of his things was that's why they couldn't hold him. He said, but they already stopped him, they already detained him. They just, you only have so many hours that you can detain somebody before you got to let them go. And if they don't have that finer nugget, if you will, for a better lack of words, then yes, they're going to go ahead and let him go. They'll just keep an eye on him, watch his movements. I could see that. He was also claimed that one of the things that also attracted him to this individual, going back to Bill Garcia, he says that the claims that the group of people like expensive things, gambling cars, extravagance, he claims that is what led them to specific areas of this individual. He believes that local law enforcement and FBI know about his individual because they have detained him in the past. He claims during the time that it appeared, they were not ready to arrest him because they didn't have everything they needed to secure the case, and that in law enforcement, you only have so many hours before you have to release the individual. Now, this is what is interesting about saying, well, wouldn't they put a stop to him flying, right, put a hold on his passport. So he believes that this individual drove approximately 300 miles to the country from an international airport, which he left the country. That's interesting. That he drove 300 miles to a country and then left from an international airport to go back to Jordan. Interesting. Now, he claims they are on the right path when he was asked. And he said when all chips are on the table, they will have been, he feels they will have been right where they needed to be. And I'm just paraphrasing that. Now, the lady asked him about, literally criminally obsessed. The interviewer asked him about getting information, and he said that it's difficult in the United States, but it's not in Mexico. In Mexico, it's easy. You just ask him for the name and times of the individual who left through that, and through the missing and abducted persons organization, and they can get that information. So that goes without saying, no doubt about it. They use the missing and abducted persons organization to gather that information. Almost like, from what I'm taking about Bill, is that they're doing their homework. That's what makes this thing so complex. They're doing their homework. They're figuring it out. And I can't imagine he would say that they found evidence that he was there before Nacy was, that he was in the United States even after Nacy was taken. That just blows my mind, because that's like, you got to have some crucial evidence. But then again, you would think he would, right? Now, he did say that if they didn't stop in Mexico and went straight to the country that he's from the international airport, they may not be able to get that information needed. Now, one of the interesting things was he believes this was targeted because of the fact he believes this was targeted because he said there, Nacy Gutherie's, although that's an expensive area, there's so many more expensive areas that literally had more money and could have been a better fit for them to go after. So this had to be definitely targeted, in his opinion. Interesting. Kimmy, maybe they didn't have enough evidence to hold him. All we know, Holly, if they took Nacy to Mexico, the person could have had a quick pass that didn't get checked coming or going. Just a thought. It's possible. Good point. Holly, good point. Analyze. William Hubie, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Analyze. April, my son used to collect those. They hurt to literally wobble and fall over. Yeah, the Weeble wobbles. I remember them. They're like little egg-looking things. Yeah. April, laughing out loud. Annie, they don't know first coyotes. They don't know. First coyotes, the septic tanks, then Mexico. So who knows? That's well said, Annie. Who well said? Norma, 1985, analyzed between LDZ and KD. Only one KD is still locked in. That is very true. Well said, analyze. L, he got to have a laugh every now and then, chat. Love you guys. April, L for sure. Best chat anywhere. Strawberry, I find it hard to believe that if he's such a good guy and outstanding citizen, that he wouldn't have returned to the United States to see his son for 6 years. Good point, Strawberry. Good point. Wow. Definitely a good point. Norma, yes, 1985. Good laugh is good medicine for the soul for you. Love you. April, 100% agree. Holly, do you think any information Bill has Pima County would try to hide or cover up? Whew, man, I mean, it's do I think? I don't think anything is impossible with this department. Well, let me rephrase that. With this sheriff, I don't think anything you can put that's not possible. Um, yeah, I mean, is it possible? Sure, I think it's possible. Anything's possible for sure. Good point. Strawberry, you do have a good point there. We need to know more about Zach's wife. No doubt. No doubt. So that's why he's saying that he believes this was targeted to Nacy because there was so many other people that had a lot more money that should have been targeted or could have been targeted that would have been a lot easier. Now, here's a kicker that I found interesting. Hear me out on this one, everybody. I found this very interesting. Bill Garcia claimed that once he was able to go up to Nancy Gutherie's house when when law enforcement cleared everybody off the street, he was able to look at the surroundings of the house and come to the conclusion that this had to be a targeted event. The question is, why was he allowed? This is me asking the question. Why was he allowed to look at the property and investigate around the property? I thought the investigate when streamers were not allowed to be there. Why were streamers not allowed to be there, but he was allowed to be there? Because he didn't have any, according to him, he didn't have any contact with the family. He called the family, but they never called him back. So why would they allow him, Pima County Sheriff's Office, to go on the property, look at the house, look behind the property, but yet they won't let streamers literally stream from a public roadway or easement? How does that even make sense, everybody? What say you? Luke's mom borrowed the Range Rover money from a cousin named Nan Pham. Well, that's an interesting name, Nan Pham. After arrest, Luke went to live with Nan Pham to help work off the debt. Well, that's the Nan Pham told me. Oh, Lord. Interesting. That's very interesting. Well said. Well said. Trying to figure where I'm at here, but give me a second. Oh, wow, Analyze, says April. Analyze, you have some great information for us to look at. Thank you for sharing. And I have to ask the question, Analyze, is there a relation between you and any of these people? I mean, you have some really good information. I'm just wondering, maybe, who, with Nan Pham to help. Well, that's what Nan Pham told me. What is Nan Pham to you, and who is Nan Pham? Just asking because I'm just curious. Very good information, my friend. Thank you. Alyssa could have come back over the left under different name. Very possible. Annie, was it after the streamers were gone that he was there? That's what he said. He said, and I'm quoting here, he said that he went to look. He claimed that once he was able to go up to Nancy Gutherie's house when he had cleared everybody, when the sheriff had cleared everybody off the street, he was able to look at the surrounding of the house and come up to the conclusion that it was a targeted event. I'm just wondering, why was he allowed to do all this if he had no contact with the family? Because he said he tried calling the family, or he left the contact with them, but they never called him back. Just a question I had. Interesting. Analyze. Good morning, Kimmy. I think maybe the family hired him. The more he talks, the more that's what it appears to be. They just don't want anybody to know. Strawberry. Wait, what? Holly, was the construction company working in Nancy's area by chance Luke's mom's company? Oh, God. I don't know. Somebody else has to answer that one because I'm not really sure. I am not really sure on that. Alyssa, as only Z told us, he talked to the FBI. He could just be saying that as well. That is very true, Alyssa. That is a very true. Good point. Could the family have hired Bill to get his information out? It's possible. It's very possible. That's a good point as well. April, could the family have hired Bill to get the information out? Very possible, April. Strawberry, not sure. Not sure about all of them, but the roofing company is owned by the Crouch family. Interesting. Annie, maybe that's why they wanted the streamers gone. That's what I'm thinking, Annie. Maybe that's why they wanted the streamers gone so other people could do what they needed to do, look at what they needed to look. You know, it's very possible. I mean, good thought. Yesterday, very great question. Secret hire. Agent, what was it? Agent 59 or Agent 51? Get smart. Secret hire, without a doubt. Good. That's also a good point, April. Carolina girl, Nam Fam added to the list of names. Nam Fam. Carolina. April, oh, loud Carolina girl. Oh, Lord, Carolina girl. Strawberry, they all intertwined. Keep coming back to the same people, without a doubt. L, I'm thinking the same, April, but then why would he come out with this info and tell everyone? It's strange to me. It is very strange, no doubt about it, L. Carolina girl. Interesting. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Be a member, everybody. Let's get this channel to grow. Now, he did say that in that interview that he believed that why Nacy could have been chosen was because when Savannah had the mom on her show and then they went back to Tucson to that restaurant, that people could have seen that they could have talked and said, hey, this person's got some money. And that's why they could have targeted her. He does believe that that is very possible. Now, he was asked, how long do you think it would take to find her? And he said, in a lot of possible, he said that is impossible. Now, here's what he said. When asked how long do you think it would take to find Nacy, he stated, and I'm paraphrasing here, sometimes they never find an individual, so that is a possibility. If the media attention goes away, probably, speaking of the streamers who are keeping the story alive. You know, on one hand, and then he states he believes that in some token, a lot of these TikTok YouTubers and content creators could be muddying up the waters, could make things very difficult. Now, to me, that makes no sense because on one hand, he's saying if they leave, the story ends up dying. If they stay, well, they can be causing problems because they're giving out misinformation. So that's the confusion of some of the things he had said that had me confused. No doubt about it. Oh, Lord, Carolina Girl Strawberry. I'm thinking the same, April, but then why would they come out with this info? Carolina Girl, no more names for me, Marianne. Kimmy, if they got all the YouTubers out of the area for a specific reason, then I'm all for it. There you go. Well, that's so true. I mean, if they know something we don't know and they had to do this to get that information, then I agree with that. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and that's a very good comment. Good point, Kimmy. April, one more Marianne Nam. Z claimed that his wife and children live in Jordan because it is safer than the US. Oh, where did it take out to? Trying to find where I'm at here, buddy. Annie, you could have more people because you read our comments and talk to us. Thank you so much, Annie. I appreciate that. If only everybody else could see this. Holly, Bill would have to have some kind of hard evidence to take those claims. That's a fact, Holly. That is a fact. Marianne, no. April, analyze, nope. Just investigating, found fam through Facebook. He then reached out to me. I've spoken to Hernandez brothers also. My team's working this, did great work. Independent investigate. Thank you so much, Analyze. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. God bless you, my friend. Strawberry, so far, you think private investigator are researching Nacy's property? Well, he said he was. He said he did. He said he looked into the property. That's what he said. That's what Bill Garcia said. Marianne, KB, double speak. No doubt, KB, no doubt. And KB had a good point yesterday. She said, we got to get up to 10,000 subscribers. I remember that. The problem is so much crime is in the area that YouTubers expose a lot of shady businesses going on. That is well said, Holly. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Annie, thank you for the comment. I agree. It's unique. It's unique. One of these things make the channel stand out, combined with DD experience and great chat. You guys got it. Analyzing Crouch and Luke are friends. Crouch's family to the gem house. Crouch is Luke are friends. Crouch is family to the gem house. Interesting. I did not know that. April, was it after the streamers were arrested? He went to the house. Well, he said he had to wait till they were all cleared off the road. So I'm going to say yes, only because that's what he said, that he had to wait for them to all be cleared out. I'm assuming. I don't know that to be fact, but that's what makes sense to me. Oleg, those neighbors don't like strangers in their neighborhood. Maybe they think that Nacy's renting a casita out and out it brought strangers. April, yes. Annie, it's true. Thank you. Norma, great investigation. Analyze. Holly, crazy that all these people say, wait, come back to the gem guy. Interesting. April posted my email if you got something to send. Holly, 100% agree. So now he's saying also, Bill Garcia, he claims that a lot of these people who are searching really don't know how to search, that they have to have a methodic way of searching. And typically when they search and they find something of value, speaking of himself, they would take pictures and notify law enforcement. But he said a lot of the TikTok users and TikTok and YouTubers and whatnot and content creators, that they're just basically doing it for likes, clicks, and etc. So on one hand, he's bad. He's not saying anything favorably about the streamers that are covering this case and people that are searching. Then on the other end, he's thankful that they're there because otherwise the case would die. Once again, it just doesn't make sense. He said a lot of these people don't have any searching experience. They do it for the likes, they do it for the clicks, they do it for the money. But he doesn't take any money. He does it pro bono. Huh? That is money. That's money that if you find the person, you get money. So I'm not sure what the Lord. Okay, let me see here. Uninstall. Okay, there we go. Man, yes, wholly agree. Where can Bill Garcia be watched? Well, I don't know if he has his own channel or not. I know he was on Criminally Obsessed. Criminally Obsessed is the person that interviewed him. So check that out, and you can. I watch it many times just so that I could have the right information. Not only the family, but the sheriff. April, great question. April, Strawberry, criminally obsessed. Carolina girl, Marianne, criminally obsessed. YouTube, Quentin. Hello, fella 88. You got it, Quentin. April, there's the email. Okay, thank you, says Strawberry. So on one hand, he's saying disparaging things, or at least how I take it, with the streamers. And on the other hand, he's trying to say that if they leave, then the story's probably going to end up becoming unalive. I mean, I don't think you can have it both ways. Then he says the interviewer asked him, like, how did he see things when he was there? And he says it was like a circus. So it's kind of like, wow, like, really? Talk about a slap in the face, right? The interview did ask him what was going to solve this case. And his answer was kind of similar to what Nano said. He said, what's going to crash the case is law enforcement, feet on the ground, technology. But he did say it was a shame that the federal law enforcement were not brought in from day one. At least he digged a little bit with Nanos. And he says this because some of the evidence was tainted, destroyed because of lack of organization, or in my opinion. Let's see here. Strawberry Criminalist says, Marianne, okay, thank you. She really obsessed. Laughing out loud. Quentin says, she's really obsessed. KB, ex FBI cold case now. Morgan Wright kind of discredited Garcia. His channel is Crime Reconstructed. Okay, got you. So Morgan Wright kind of discredited Garcia. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say is he's done it for 35 years. I don't know what to make of this interview, but obviously someone gave him a platform. This is all crazy. Holly, I feel like they're always discrediting YouTubers, but they are the only ones doing anything. Well said. Well said, Holly. He talked about the blood droplets, that it's not something you would see from a cut, that basically she was, in his opinion, struck in the nose, caused her to have a bloody nose, and that the blood spots that you saw were her coughing, not spitting out blood, but coughing up blood. She said if he was there and they had secured it, they could have possibly found DNA from either the guy who pulled up in the car or probably the guy who was at the porch. Maybe there was something that was dropped of DNA of some sort. Said it could have been compromised. Then he said he contacted the family members, but hasn't heard anything back yet. So they are continuing to go forward and trying to investigate this. In a nutshell, that's what he states. And then he states that basically that they're going to continue. And I guess the big question here to us is, where do you stand on it now? Now you've heard his side, because I took notes as I watched that whole interview. I took a lot of notes and I wanted to see exactly, and I mean exactly, what he was saying. What do you all think about that now? Now you've heard everything that I had to share with you about literally Bill Garcia. Holly, this is all crazy. Holly, I feel like there's always discrediting YouTubers. Yes, Holly, agree. Norma, agree. Strawberry, well, if it takes a circus to keep Nancy's case alive, so be it. Nanos is a clown. Well said, Strawberry. Quote of the day. Well said. Awesome. Little Red Bee, Bananos, has also been in law enforcement for many years. Not impressed with either one of them, says Little Red Bee. Yes, over 50 years for Bananos. No doubt about it, Little Red Bee. Well stated. Norma, yes, Strawberry, he is the star of the circus. L, Strawberry laughed out loud. I do agree. Holly, could they be lying about how blood that really is maybe Porch guy cut his hand or had break camera? Just a thought. I don't think that they would lie about something like that. You know, I don't think they would lie about something like that because you're talking about evidence. You're talking about if you're lying about evidence. I mean, how would then you when you talk about the real evidence, how people are not going to accuse you of lying like a defense attorney or something. I mean, so I don't think they would go to that extreme. Annie, let's see if Bill Garcia does something. Norma, Holly, at this point, anything is possible. April, I think, in my opinion, he is connected to the family, and no one needs to know because PI does not give out that info. Well said, April. Quentin, oh, by the way, McDonough said blood drops very dark, and that could mean a heart not pumping, then which retains oxygen. I agree. Holly Nanos has lied before, for sure. Annie, they said it was her blood, but from when? April, if he has hired by family, he would not tell us. Without a doubt, he would not say. Kiki Khan, have a great day, pops. I know all four behind this, not losing my life telling LE she couldn't paid. She could have paid. I'm the only one in the country that knows. I know all four behind this. Not losing my life telling LE. Interesting, Analyze. She could have paid. I'm the only one in this country that knows. Interesting. Oh, that sounds very interesting, Analyze. Tell us more. April, I agree. He wouldn't put that info out there, in my opinion. Norma, have a great day. Kiki, Holly, wow. Yeah, everybody just got what he just said. To me, the blood flow are very thick and dark, but then print of shoe, etc., wasn't as dark. True. Yeah, I said the same thing, Holly and Al. Tell us more. No doubt about it. Very interesting. Oh, Lord have mercy. Analyze just dropped the mic. Very interesting. Analyze, says Kiki Khan. What country, Jordan? Strawberry, analyze shit or get off the pot. Yeah, I haven't heard that one in a long time. Strawberry says, analyze shit or get off the pot. My God, I heard that all the time growing up. April, analyze. I am scared now for you. Holly, questions, analyze. What? I'm thinking it's questions at analyze. Norma, analyze. Thank you for sharing that information with us. This is very interesting. Dang, I am too, April, no doubt. Analyze, please be safe. No doubt about it, analyze. Be safe, my friend. Be safe. Norma, analyze. Please be safe. Well, everybody, I think, wow, that was a mic drop. I gotta say, it's kind of hard to leave on that note. Holy moly. Click that like, everybody. Click that. Get that algorithm going. Click that like. Click the hearts. Click it all, everybody. Wow. Well, Analyze, if you want to send me anything, you got my email. Send me any information you have. I would love to look it over. I'll definitely use my police knowledge to try to decipher and understand what's going on. And I'm just throwing that out there. Strawberry says, analyze. I got time. Carolina girl, analyze. Coming in with some tea. Analyze. Yo, not me. That's what the Orams said, y'all. Interesting. Why my jaw is still open. All right. Wow, man. That's been a great live. Jesus, I hate to end live like that. No doubt. So I guess at the end, in one opinion, I want you guys in one or two words at most, tell me, do you think, and there's going to be a couple of things here, so listen to what I'm asking. Tell me if you think the Bill Garcia is literally genuine about this case, trying to find Nacy in whatever methods that is, or do you think that this is a distraction? Remember his demeanor. Remember, he had a very, very cordial demeanor, a very very likable personality. Tell me what you think. I want to know before we leave. Tell me, do you think that this is literally something where he has literally trying to create misinformation, or is he literally someone who is trying to solve the situation? What do you all think? Let me see. Allison, my jaw still open. The original troll that everyone forgot about. Analyze the original troll that everyone forgot about. April, analyze who is the troll that said this. Analyze from thrones to the realms. From thrones to the Orams. Interesting. Holly says, nope, distraction. April, thank you. Annie says a distraction. Holly, Bill needs to look into the gym guy and all that connections. Marianne says a distraction. Norma, yesterday, I think he is genuine and he knows much more. So we got 3-1, 3-1. Where are we at now? We got 3-1. I think it could be genuine, in all honesty. But I don't like all the condescending to the streamers. That does not sit well with me. But anyway, where are we at now? Yeah, hey, this was a quote from Analyze from Another. She is fine, Analyze from Another. Not sure, just don't believe everything said, says L. Point taken. I haven't seen Garcia. Totally understand. You have all our attention. Thank you for sharing. Analyze. Appreciate you. KB says leading into distraction or searcher eliminating competition. That's a good point, KB. That's a very good point. Wow, that's a very good point. Leaning into distraction or searcher eliminating competition. Oh my lord. Family hire a secret is my opinion, says April. Very good point. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting, everybody. Yes, KB. Point taken. Wow. All right, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and end this chat. Seems like we all pretty much come to a same conclusion. We'll pick this conversation up at 5, see where it goes. Um, if something comes up on my end, I will let you all know. Everybody, thank you so much for all the gifts, for all the donations, for all the to helping out the channel grow, for all the memberships that were purchased. I appreciate every one of you. You guys are what makes this channel so awesome. You guys, your questions, your thinking, your common sense, everything you bring to the table, literally everything, everything that brings to the table, you guys bring it all every time. Good morning, Brenda. We'll see you back at 5. We'll be back at 5, Brenda. Watch the replay. It's a very good one here. A very good one all the way to the end. But yes, everybody, definitely will be here at 5. Maloro said, me too. I don't like what he said about the streamers. When they said it was a circus, I stopped watching. Thanks for following this case. You got it, Marloro. You got it. Thank you for being here. Yes, Marianne, love you all. Thank you. Thank you, mods, for everything you guys do. You guys make it happen. You guys, I appreciate every one of you. And as far as everyone else goes, everybody in this channel, everybody listening, this is the real deal, folks. This is how, to me, a channel is supposed to be, where you talk and you answer questions and people get their answers. That's how it should be, in my opinion. Maybe it's just my opinion, but that's how we roll. With that, everybody, we'll figure it out. It's all common sense, everybody. It's all common sense. See you all at 5. God bless and have a great day.